I look at someone like you, there's a gift there, okay? The Lord sowed into you the gift of speaking, of communicating, and I don't even think it's that, to be honest with you. I think it's the gift of transferring of energy, transferring of spirit, of information to people. You're gifted at that. But you got great at it by refining that gift. When did you know, hey, this is something different about me. I can really speak here. This is something unique.
Freshman year in college, don't laugh.
Okay.
All right, freshman year in college, me and my boys start like this, like Christian organization. So every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, we'd speak. Now they didn't let me speak initially. Okay. Because I was a high school dropout, rough around the edges, like I wasn't really polished, right? And so, but here's a good thing is, you stay humble, it's a gift. So we did it every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. So at some point, the guys couldn't make the appointment. So I was like always the host of the show. So when they didn't show up, they like, well, we bringing so-and-so to speak. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm hosting, so this is my shot right here.
The best ability is availability, right?
Ern wasn't there, Trey wasn't there. I'm like, finally, 3-4 months into it, I'm like, I'm in, because they not there. So I'm in. Like, don't put me in, I'm in. And my first message was, pimping ain't easy, but somebody's got to do it. That was my first message. Yeah, the church meeting. Pimping ain't easy, but somebody's got to do it. That's why I said don't laugh. But this is how I knew I had something, because people were like, yo, nobody's ever. And so I talked about how the devil's trying to pimp us. And I just took that whole angle. And my second message just blew up was, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a sucker? And so everybody was just like, yo, bro, this is different. Like, this is not a normal preacher. It's not a normal delivery. The energy is kind of different. So while adults weren't really fooling with me, a lot of guys who were like, yo, we don't even do that church stuff. Like, we don't do that kind of stuff. We're not into that. And what was unique about, and I'm glad you asked, nobody's ever asked me this. What was unique is that we did it at the Bell Tower, which was in the center of the campus. So you had to pass it to go anywhere. So it was cats like, yo, I wasn't coming to no spiritual event, but I would hear that loud voice and that passion, and I heard, pimping? Pimping? Are you talking about pimping at church? So they would just walk over like, yo, what is he talking about? Pimping ain't easy. And it was at that point when I saw non-church, regular people, jeans, t-shirts coming by, and when I would speak, stop. I was like, yo, E, you got something.
Think of some major goal you want, or maybe it's one you're already working on and you have experienced a lot of setbacks, a lot of defeats. You've experienced a lot of disappointment. Maybe you've already given up. And maybe you just need a little fire, a little encouragement to get back in the game again. Here's what I want you to look at. There are winners, there are losers, and there are people who have not discovered how to win. And all they need is some coaching. All they need is some help and assistance, just a little support. All they need is some insight or a different strategy, a plan of action to make some adjustments that will open up the key to a whole new future for them, that will give them access to the unlimited power that they have within themselves.
So they're all sitting around in a group, I guess, kind of thinking about what they want to do, like we do some days. And Simon Peter said to them, I'm going fishing! Exclamation mark. Now, that always caught my attention because of the exclamation mark that's there. So he must have said it with some emphasis, or maybe, and I don't know this for sure, but maybe Peter and some of the disciples were just a little bit, I don't know, frustrated. They had these thoughts about Jesus and what was going to happen, and here he died and he's gone now, and I don't know, maybe they thought he was going to come back and do something, and they haven't seen him in a while and nothing's happening. And so Peter was a fisherman before Jesus called him, and so now it kind of seems like he's just decided he's going to go back and do what he used to do. You got to be careful if you feel like Jesus hasn't shown up in your life for a while, that you don't decide to just go back and do what you used to do.
Here's what I want you to repeat after me, please, with power and conviction. Say, it's possible. That's all I want you to do when you look at your dream. Just say to yourself every day, it's possible. Just say that every day to yourself, it's possible. Because what does that do? See, it begins to change your belief system. See, the way in which we operate, ladies and gentlemen, it's a manifestation of what we believe, what's possible for us. Whatever you've done up to this point, all that it really is a duplication, it's a reproduction of what you believe subconsciously that you deserve and what's possible for your life. Most people operate out of their personal history, out of their memory, things they've done, things they've experienced, things they've seen, things that they have observed. What I'm suggesting that you operate out of a larger vision of yourself. I want you to see yourself doing what you want to do, experiencing what you want to experience, having what you want to have, doing what it is that gives your life some meaning and value.
But I realized at some point, when I looked at my family's history, I was like, some things I don't want. Some things I want, but there's some things I don't want. And then I remember having to say one day to myself, like, yo, you are your father's child. Like, yo, even though he didn't raise you, even though in the beginning you guys had, whatever little stuff y'all need to get through, don't lie. You are lazy at times. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are super social and you'd rather talk than work. You know what I'm saying? I just had to grow up one day and just be real with myself and just say, the only way you're gonna be successful is you gotta discipline yourself. When you look at a horse, I'm talking about a thoroughbred, it still needs that, what is that thing called that they put on it? He needs that. Without, you can't, you gotta control him. He got a lot of juice, got a lot of energy, he can go for it, but you gotta hone that. Yeah. And so I realized, like, yo, you sleep in, you play video game, don't lie to yourself. You are powerful, but you have some vices, and you have some vices that take you down a crazy road. Like, you are your father, you are your grandfather, you are your mother, you are your grandmother. Like, it's real. And so I started saying, okay, you got to discipline yourself. And this is for me, this ain't for everybody. I start getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's like, yo, you're gonna have to get up a little bit earlier because you didn't finish school. You didn't take care of your business. So you can't get up the same time another man who gets up, who handle his business. So you need to get up at 3 if you're gonna catch the greats. You got to get up at 3. You got to go to bed earlier.
Operate out of your imagination, not your memory. Because whatever you look at where you want to go, I'm wanting to warn you, you will have some conversation back here after you go through the data that you've experienced in life saying you can't do it. And so what you want to begin to do is ignore that inner conversation. Well, most people, ladies and gentlemen, when something happens to them, what they do is they begin to believe that that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. And they can't see the possibility of it being any different. Example, before April 1954, the common belief, the universal belief, because it had been tried again and again and again and people had failed, the belief was that man was not physically capable of breaking the 4-minute barrier, that he could not run a mile in less than 4 minutes. That was the belief on the planet. It had never been done. But here's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Roger Bannister came along, and he broke the 4-minute barrier. Now here's what's significant about that. Since that time, up to this day, over 20,000 people have done it, including high school kids. What changed? 20,000 people, what changed? Here's what happened when they got on the track. They knew it had been done. And because they knew it had been done, there was a new belief about this barrier, about this goal that was unreachable. And those 20,000 people got in a race believing, knowing in their heart that someone had done it, that it's possible, that they could do it. And I'm saying that if you know anybody that had some goal, some dream, something they wanted to do, and they did it, then I'm saying that you know in your heart that if someone has done it, then you can do it. It's possible.